whatever it might be, it breaks down. But all these efforts to have constant comfort are all sense gratification that is futile, because the senses are past networks leading to death. Because at death, if you aren't prepared for death by being jnana vijnana astikyam, by following the Vedic truths with knowledge and realization, you get detachment, jnana vairagya. And that vairagya means you're just not attached to the comfort of the body, because you know it's a futile attempt anyway to get it permanently. You can never get it permanently. Impossible. You only get it for a short time with all kinds of great sacrifices and inconveniences put up beforehand to get to that, and then it's spent, and then you got to do it again. Mm-hmm. My point is that we've lost the thread. We've lost where we really came from. You attract devotees through jnana vairagya. You attract devotees through tapasya. You attract devotees by pointing out that what illusions you're in regard to enjoying the material world. You don't know what the repercussions are. What's happening here? Just like we're sitting here at these 17 acres. All right. And mostly it's woods, but actually it's billions of different living entities in the forms of insects, worms, trees. When you see a deer come by, which on a daily basis you do, they're the advanced ones. Out of the billions of living entities, those deer are the advanced ones. And they're animals. They have no ability to be Krishna conscious. They have no ability to be introspective. They can't analyze their situation and say, why am I here? Every real devotee, and we can even say of those who have become sahajis, which is a great many, but we can say in the beginning they were real devotees until they became sahajis down the line. Every real devotee, either just before becoming a devotee or right at the point of being preached to and getting the realization, came to the big question. And what is the big question? The big question is, why am I here? Why am I forced to suffer? Why? There must be a reason. And that answer is given in Krishna consciousness. So if we're going to attract devotees, we have to get back to where we came from, to our real roots. We attracted through confrontation. We attracted through quote-unquote negativity. Not that we are masochists. We are not masochists. We're against masochism. We're against sadism. A devotee is not a sadist. A devotee is a friend to all living entities. When I was coming down to pick you up, I was coming at 60 miles an hour on those winding roads on Highway 7 there. I went over a turtle. I didn't run him over. We went underneath. I went past by about 100 yards. I said, wait a minute, somebody's going to hit that turtle. I stopped, backed up, went and put him in the grass. Because a devotee doesn't like any living entities to suffer. Vaishnava means you don't want a living entity to suffer. You want a living entity to not suffer. You want to relieve suffering. A devotee is displeased when another living entity suffers. However, when you help another living entity come to knowledge, by living entity here we mean a human, because the animals can't do it, and the lower than the animals, they can't do it. You're not going to go successfully preach to a crocodile. You can successfully enlighten and help another human being. But even the vast majority of them in this age you can't help, because they've lost the power. They've lost the power to even comprehend. They can't comprehend anymore. But some can. And therefore, how do you do it? You confront. And we've lost that confrontational spirit. That confrontational spirit was there, wouldn't you agree, in the beginning?
Definitely, yes.
When devotees came in the beginning, the idea was, Prabhupada said, yagya, tapasya. And that's confronting your own self, because your own self doesn't want that. Your own self doesn't want that discomfort. But you go in and you confront and you say, Guru says, I don't want it, but Guru says, I want it. Because Guru says. You confront yourself. Because the program you have been doing for the previous 20 years, that didn't work. That didn't give you the pastimes of the Lord in your consciousness. neither did that make you materially successful. Instead, you were being harassed by more and more psychological problems, more and more difficulties, diminution of opportunities in the material world.
So what do you say to someone who says, well, Prabhupada wanted us to have nice feasts, nice
Yes,
programs?
well, it's a combination. In other words, you also attract in that way. Prasadam means mercy. So really, in all the other yoga systems except this yoga system, which is the highest one, Bhakti is the highest one, Buddha yoga, Bhakti yoga, is the highest yoga system. Although the Gyanis, they don't say like that. But they may not say like that, but it still is, because Bhagavad Gita says it is. So in this system, you can have some prasadam. You can actually, in certain ways, enjoy some sense gratification that's been transcendentally surcharged, that's not allowed in the other yoga systems. In all the other genuine yoga systems, be it Jnana Yoga, and particularly Ashtanga Yoga, it is tremendous pain, tremendous denial, tremendous austerity. But in this yoga system, you can have a little, as long as it's authorized in the line from the parampara, the Guru parampara. So that can be to help that. For example, say you do in the old days, I don't know if this is being done anymore too much, but back in the day, late 60s, early 70s, even you can say to some degree mid 70s, you put in really hard 8-9 hours doing magazines or books or Sankirtan on the street, whatever it is. And then you get to come back in the early evening or late afternoon to have some really tremendous prasadam. So on the trip, on the Sankirtan van coming back, you feel real good. You have so much bliss flowing because of your tapasya. First the tapasya, then the bliss. Then you get another reward of a little sense gratification that's authorized. It didn't degrade. It didn't make you more absorbed in comfort.
Right.
It made you more absorbed in Krishna consciousness.
Right, because it was Krishna prasadam.
Right. It's prasadam, mercy. But you didn't come back and have sexual intercourse with a new female that just came in to the cult. That was not. You could not have that sense gratification. That would degrade you right down, even lower than you were before by far, because it's unauthorized. Because the whole principle is that to the degree that we are absorbed in the physical body, then we must take another physical body in accordance with what has happened to our astral body in the course of that absorption. The fact is, just like that pulp inside the coconut has to get totally detached, we're covered by sheaths, annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha. Even the vijnanamaya kosha is a sheath ultimately. Very, very high sheath, but it's still part of conditioned life. It's not what you have in the spiritual sky. We have to get free of these sheaths. The annamaya kosha is earth, water, and fire. Everybody can see fire. Everybody can taste water. Everybody can smell earth. Everybody knows these qualities. That's the physical body, anna, food. You have to eat in order to keep the physical body functioning. Then subtler than that is the pranamaya. Prana, of course, the air, which travels in your body, 10 different life airs, prana being the main one of the 10. And included in that kosha is ether, which is still called Pancha Mahabhuta, one of the 5 gross elements. So the ether is the carrying of the sound. And that's in the body, because otherwise you slap, how there cannot be ether, there's sound coming from your clapping of your hands. Sound is coming out, so there has to be some sound in. Just like if you burn wood, you get fire because there's some fire in it. But if you burn a rock, you don't get fire because fire isn't in a rock. So the pranamaya kosha is more subtle than the manomaya kosha, more subtle. That's mind, false ego, mundane intelligence, material intelligence.